Hi, my name is Tracy Lizay, and I'm an elementary teacher in Minnesota, and I teach with the Spring Lake Park School District. I've been using Nearpod since I started teaching in 2018, and it was recommended to me by a coworker who noticed that I could use a little help with classroom management. I love creating my own lessons and drawing from curriculum that we already have, but presenting it in a new and different way. So I used to spend hours of my nights and weekends creating slideshows that were more engaging and fun, I thought, than we were given to work with. Unfortunately, my 6-year-olds weren't as engaged as I thought they would be. So my coworker said, hey, have you tried putting it on Nearpod? I said, what's Nearpod? So she showed me the app, showed me how I could convert my personal slide deck to a PDF, upload it, so that it became a slideshow that was now not just projected on one TV for 30 students, but projected onto every student's individual iPad. They could follow along, they could actually see the words, and my coworker also taught me how I could add formative assessments throughout the lesson. Students could submit drawings, they could answer poll questions, they could answer short answer questions. Super cool. And what do you know? My students were really engaged, and their learning really took off. So I wanted to thank Nearpod for that. When we switched to online learning in the spring of 2020, it was tough. I was wondering, how can we still engage our students from afar? And what else does this platform of Nearpod have to offer? How can I continue to teach my students? So with all of our newfound spare time that we all had when the pandemic hit, I took the free Nearpod Educator Certification course, and I was blown away. I realized that all of that time that I was spending during my planning period, during my nights, my weekends, my breaks, creating these lessons for students, they already existed on Nearpod and at a much higher level quality of content. So I wanted to show you how I organize my lessons, how you can search for specific types of lessons to save some of your precious time as a teacher, and maybe learn something new about Nearpod and try something new in your classroom. So I'm on the Nearpod website and the Nearpod library. Something I really appreciate is how there's always new lessons coming out that are very timely. For example, here there's a lesson about TikTok bans. This was just in the news over the last week. And this is something that's already created for grades 6 to 12. There are different ways that you can teach the lesson. If you're teaching in a classroom, live participation, you can also do student self-paced. Okay, I want to go back. So I wanted to show you just how specific some of these Nearpod lessons are. So for example, if I have a first grader who is having a difficult time learning their digraphs, I can search for digraph. And there are already all of these lessons just on digraphs that I can assign to students. I teach online, so how I assign these is I'll assign them in a self-paced mode so they can work on it with their caregiver. And when we come back to class online, my students and I can utilize our time a lot more efficiently. I can check their reports. This has all of my post-session reports since I started using Nearpod a few years ago. And something neat is that it will save your reports from years ago. So I can, let's see, so for example, this is a lesson that I've taught this year and in 2021. So I can compare students' answers to see general trends over time. And in my lessons, I have organized my lessons on Nearpod by content area. Some of my more specific lessons that are more skills-based, like math and phonics, I do have separated by grade level. But what I like is that the lessons in Nearpod themselves don't say first grade or second grade. So in math, K2, if I have a student that's in 4th grade and is still learning their numbers, I can assign this to them at a student self-paced or live, depending on where you're instructing. And it doesn't say that, this is for 1st grade or 2nd grade. It's super cool. I can't say enough about Nearpod. I've been using it for 5 years now, and each day I learn more and more. It's my students' favorite learning platform. It teaches them how to be responsible for their learning, and it also gives them a bit of academic freedom. They feel like they're in control of the lesson. They can go at their own pace. They can repeat slides that they need to. They can hear my voice that I record over the text. So even my youngest learners who don't know their letters, they can read along with a lesson by clicking play, hearing my voice, and they can complete that lesson independently that they wouldn't have been able to before. So thank you, Nearpod. You have saved hours and hours and hours of my life. If you are a new teacher or if you are new to Nearpod, I highly recommend the platform and learning more. Thanks, Nearpod.